Number 10, Hereditary, 2018. Hereditary is a psychological horror masterpiece directed by Ari Aster, renowned for its intense atmosphere and unsettling imagery. The story revolves around the Graham family, who, after the death of their enigmatic grandmother, begin to unravel secrets that hint at a terrifying fate. Toni Collette's performance as the grieving mother, Annie, is powerful and haunting, pulling you deeper into her character's descent into madness. What makes Hereditary truly disturbing is its depiction of grief and trauma. Rather than relying solely on jump scares, the film uses slow-building tension and shocking visuals that leave you feeling profoundly uncomfortable. From chilling scenes of supernatural occurrences to the devastating portrayal of family dynamics, it holds a mirror to the darkest aspects of human suffering. Its unsettling conclusion, blending occultism with familial horror, leaves many viewers questioning the nature of fate, free will, and the presence of evil. The film stays with you long after the credits roll, haunting your thoughts like a ghost in the shadows. Number 9. The Witch, 2015. Directed by Robert Eggers, The Witch is a slow-burning descent into paranoia and religious fanaticism, set in the isolated wilderness of 1630s New England. The story follows a Puritan family, banished from their community, as they attempt to survive in the unforgiving woods. Their lives take a dark turn when their infant son mysteriously disappears, and suspicion grows about the presence of a witch in the woods. The film's unsettling atmosphere is built on a foundation of historical authenticity and archaic dialogue, drawing viewers into a time when fear of the unknown was all-consuming. But it's the psychological unraveling of the family that makes this film so disturbing. The tension between the parents and their children, especially as they begin to suspect each other of consorting with dark forces, adds layers of dread. With minimal jump scares, The Witch creates fear through atmosphere, religious hysteria, and a creeping sense of dread. Its ambiguous ending leaves viewers questioning what they've seen, whether it's madness, the supernatural, or a blend of both. Number 8. Martyrs, 2008. Martyrs, directed by Pascal Laugier, is often cited as one of the most extreme horror films ever made. It follows the story of Lucy, a woman haunted by her traumatic childhood and driven by a thirst for revenge against those who tortured her. She tracks down her captors, leading to a gruesome act of violence, but that's just the beginning. What follows is a deep dive into unimaginable suffering, as Lucy's friend Anna uncovers a horrifying secret: a cult that believes in creating martyrs through unspeakable pain to glimpse the afterlife. This film is notorious for its unflinching portrayal of violence and its bleak, nihilistic tone. Unlike traditional horror that offers moments of relief, Martyrs confronts viewers with relentless suffering and despair. The film raises disturbing questions about the nature of pain, spirituality, and the human capacity for cruelty. It's a challenging watch that tests the viewer's limits, and it's not easily forgotten, especially because of its unsettling ending that leaves a lingering sense of unease and ambiguity. Number 7. The Babadook, 2014. Jennifer Kent's The Babadook is a psychological horror that explores the horrors of grief and depression. The story centers on Amelia, a widow struggling to raise her troubled son, Samuel. Things take a terrifying turn when a mysterious book called Mr. Babadook appears on their bookshelf, unleashing a sinister presence into their home. The Babadook, a dark, shadowy figure, becomes a metaphor for the unprocessed grief that haunts Amelia, growing stronger as she represses her emotions. What makes The Babadook so disturbing is its focus on the psychological struggles of parenthood and loss. The film blurs the line between supernatural terror and the horrors of mental illness, creating a claustrophobic atmosphere as Amelia's sanity begins to unravel. The disturbing imagery, from shadowy figures lurking in the dark to scenes of emotional breakdown, taps into primal fears. But beyond the scares, the film is a haunting meditation on the pain of loss and the battle to overcome inner demons. The final act, which suggests a resolution but not a defeat of the darkness, leaves audiences contemplating the lingering nature of trauma. Number 6. Audition, 1999. Directed by Takashi Miike, Audition starts as a romantic drama but quickly descends into one of the most shocking horror films ever made. It follows Aoyama, a widower who holds a fake audition to find a new romantic partner. He becomes captivated by Asami, a quiet and mysterious woman with a haunting past. As the relationship develops, the film takes a sinister turn, revealing Asami's violent tendencies. The shift from romantic to horrifying is sudden and brutal, making the film's final act all the more shocking. What sets Audition apart is its slow build, lulling the viewer into a false sense of security before unleashing a torrent of psychological and physical horror. The infamous torture scene is difficult to watch, not just because of its graphic nature, but because of the tension and psychological manipulation that precedes it. It's a film that explores themes of obsession, trauma, and the dangers of underestimating others. By the time the credits roll, you're left with a sense of unease that's hard to shake off, and an ending that lingers like a nightmare. Ari Aster's Midsummer is a bright, surreal, and deeply disturbing folk horror film. It tells the story of Danny, who, after a family tragedy, joins her boyfriend and his friends on a trip to a secluded Swedish commune. What begins as a peaceful, sunny retreat slowly transforms into a psychedelic nightmare. The film's horrors unfold in broad daylight, making the bright, cheerful surroundings feel unnatural and unnerving. Midsummer is disturbing not just for its gruesome rituals, but for its exploration of grief, codependency, and the breakdown of relationships. The slow, methodical pace allows viewers to absorb every detail, from the strange customs of the commune to the underlying tension between Danny and her boyfriend. Aster uses graphic violence sparingly, but when it does occur, it's shocking and visceral. The film's surreal visuals, combined with its exploration of the dark side of human nature, leave an impression that's as beautiful as it is terrifying. It's a story about finding belonging in the most twisted of places, and that's what makes it so chilling. Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a cornerstone of horror cinema, known for its raw, gritty atmosphere and relentless sense of dread. The story follows a group of friends who encounter a family of cannibals in rural Texas, including the iconic Leatherface. Despite its low budget, the film's documentary-like style gives it a realism that makes the violence feel all the more visceral. What makes this movie so disturbing is not just the brutality of its villains, but the atmosphere of utter hopelessness that permeates every scene. The dinner scene, where the victims are tormented at the hands of the twisted family, is one of the most unsettling moments in horror. Hooper's use of sound, from the piercing chainsaw to the deranged laughter of the antagonists, creates a sensory assault that heightens the tension. Though relatively bloodless compared to modern standards, its power lies in what it suggests, rather than what it shows, leaving viewers with a sense of lingering dread that's hard to shake. Lars von Trier's Antichrist is a psychological horror that confronts themes of grief, guilt, and the darker aspects of human nature. The story centers on a couple, played by Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg, who retreat to a cabin in the woods after the tragic death of their child. As they attempt to confront their grief, the woods begin to reveal a sinister influence, and the boundaries between reality and madness blur. The film's graphic violence and disturbing sexual content make it difficult to watch, but it's the underlying themes that make it truly disturbing. Von Trier explores the idea that nature itself can be inherently cruel and chaotic, reflecting the chaos within the human mind. The film's dreamlike sequences and symbolic imagery add to the sense of unease, creating a world where nothing feels safe or familiar. Antichrist is not a film for the faint of heart, but for those willing to engage with its challenging themes. It offers a dark, unforgettable meditation on the human psyche. At the top of our list is a Serbian film, directed by Srđan Spasojević, a movie that has become infamous for its extreme content and controversial themes. The film follows Milos, a retired adult film star who is lured back into the industry for one final project, only to find himself trapped in a nightmarish scenario that explores the depths of human depravity. A Serbian film is often described as one of the most disturbing movies ever made, and for good reason. Its graphic scenes of violence, exploitation, and taboo subjects are designed to provoke shock and revulsion. However, beneath the shocking imagery, the film is a commentary on the exploitation and corruption of power, particularly in the context of war-torn Serbia. The director intended it as a critique of the country's political and social climate, using horror as a metaphor for the manipulation and degradation of individuals. What makes a Serbian film so deeply unsettling is its willingness to go beyond the boundaries of what is typically acceptable in cinema, challenging viewers to question why they are watching such material and what it says about society's tolerance for atrocity. While many consider it unwatchable, its bold, if controversial statements ensure it remains a topic of discussion among horror enthusiasts and critics alike. It's a film that lingers, not just because of what it shows, but because of the questions it raises about the nature of cinema and the portrayal of human suffering.